Abu Zubaydah faces unending detention, longing for freedom from Guantanamo's harsh conditions.
And you just wanted to go home, he would smuggle you out. He would get you a passport and a ticket home, and
go home, like leave the organization.
Just go back to Egypt or Tunisia or wherever. Okay. Just go home.
So he's a cooperator of sorts, but not necessarily somebody that was responsible.
That's right. And if he had been charged and convicted in a federal court, he likely would have been sentenced to 20 years, which with good behavior would have been 17. And he's already been in for 25 and was tortured.
And has a life sentence, or do they?
No, he's never been charged.
So they're just still holding him.
They're still holding him indefinitely. And the Senate torture report says, the Senate torture report quotes a CIA cable that I remember seeing and shaking my head, saying Abu Zubaydah must never be allowed contact with the outside world. He must never be released. And when he dies, he is to be cremated and his ashes thrown into the Caribbean.
So it's essentially evidentiary based, because then the truth will come out.
Yeah, the truth will come out. The things that we did to him.
Okay. So it's fascinating that we're still holding him, and there isn't enough logical minds. Or do they think at this point they're going to let him go and that he's going to be so pissed off that we will have another 9/11?
You know, the naysayers will tell you yes. That's the fear. The truth is, almost nobody has taken up the fight again. Mind you, when we caught him, he was a young, strong 27-year-old man. He's in his 50s now, and he's utterly broken. Their health, all of them, Abu Zubaydah and all the other people at Guantanamo, their health is dire. There's one guy who, now this is a terrible story. You're not getting any health care in Guantanamo, just like we didn't get any health care in prison, right? They don't give a shit about your health. And so there's one guy who developed a tumor on his spine, and it made him paraplegic. So there's a certain medical device that they needed to operate to take the tumor out. The medical device was available only in the States, and the nearest one was in Miami. Well, Congress, in their infinite cowardice, passed a law saying that nobody that's ever been held in Guantanamo may be allowed in the proper United States. Why?
What was the motivation for that?
Supermax you're afraid they're going to escape from Supermax?
Yeah.
Right? Where nobody's ever escaped from. No, they're just cowards on Capitol Hill. So they couldn't take him to Miami for the surgery. Well, the alternative then is to send the device to Guantanamo. Well, the device is very, fragile. So after 6 months of hemming and hawing, they decided, okay, we're going to put the device on a plane and send it to Guantanamo. And they dropped it and broke it. And so he's a quadriplegic now. But he's still in Guantanamo.
And he's not technically being tortured yet.
Right.
The neglect is almost in and of itself.
Right. So Abu Zubaydah, all he wants, according to his lawyer, is to maybe meet a woman someday and get married, maybe have a child. He just wants to go home.
Do you think he's at all like he was the day you spent a better part of a day with him in the hospital? 56 hours. So a couple of days in the hospital and trying to elicit information from him before he got handed over to people who even know the torture program wasn't something you were keenly aware of. You also knew it wasn't going to be nearly as pleasant as you at his bedside.
That's what I told him.
Yeah.
But the nicest guy you're going to meet in this experience.
How much of that personality of somebody who it's this terrorist and everything else, and you've got him, the emotion of 9/11 is still on your mind?
I told him that. I said, I should hate you. I should want to kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't. I said, you're pathetic. He's just looking at me.
So, and there was something also, go ahead.
I'm going to show you some pictures.
I love it. Oh, gosh. Look at that.
Some of them are pretty grisly.
That's him that night?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, that's some of the other guys that didn't do so well.
They didn't do so well.
How fascinating. That's pretty. That's insane. Oh, good Lord. But what a surreal experience to have that level of a connection with somebody. And I'm curious how do you think he felt any inclination? And, I know you have all these manipulation tactics and everything else, but it seemed to me, as I hear you speak about it, that it was more a personal level thing where you kind of just implored to him, like, dude, I, for some reason, am, obviously you want the information, but you also want the best for him at that point. Is there any, is there truth to that?
I was not a trained interrogator, and I didn't know what the plans were for him.
Mm-hmm.
I had no need to know, so I wasn't read into the next compartment. My job was to catch him, and that's where my job ended. So I thought, if I can connect with this guy on a personal level, in any way, if I can elicit anything at all that might save an American life, forestall an attack, be a little nugget as to who might be hiding where. Remember, we thought he was Al-Qaeda.
Right.
We thought he was a leader of Al-Qaeda.
Right. Which is why it makes it twice as fascinating.
But, does he know where bin Laden is tonight?
Yeah.
And then I got into a major situation. Right after he flew out, we went back to the safe house. And we had also captured his diary and his cell phone in that raid. The CIA and the FBI fought over the meaning of the diary for 20 years. And I'm confident the CIA was right and the FBI was wrong. The FBI said he's a crazy person. He's a madman. A madman was the word that they used.
Mm.
And I said, no. You read this. He's brilliant. They said it's the doodlings of a madman. And I said, no, it was the 27-year-old Abu Zubaydah writing letters to the 14-year-old Abu Zubaydah, saying, don't make the mistakes that I've made as you grow up. Treat our mother and father with respect. Don't try to, grab that girl's boob in 4th grade or whatever. Treat elders with respect. He would write himself these notes about the mistakes that he had made. And then he would write poetry. And then he would draw a doodle of something. And he was quite skilled as a draftsman. I mean, beautiful artworks.
It's all kind of self-therapy.
Yeah. But then he would write like the cell phone numbers for 3 Saudi princes.
There's something.
All of whom ended up dead somehow.
Yes, conspiratorially. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. One died of thirst. Imagine that. So anyway, the other thing we found was his cell phone. So here's his cell phone.